Welcome back. I'm Uday Pratap Singh. You're joining us on Newsx. From today, India takes a big step into its next generation of GST reforms. These changes aim to bring relief to households, boost consumer demand and give industry a fresh push. GST rates have been slashed across essential goods from dairy products and daily FMCG items to automobiles and electronics. Over 375 items are getting cheaper from today. The impact will be felt across homes, markets and factories. A reform that not only shapes prices but also signals India's determination to power growth through simplicity and scale. My colleagues have travelled around the country trying to gauge what is happening on the ground while they talk to business owners, customers and entrepreneurs. Let's in fact hear them.
किस तरीके का बदलाव जीएसटी के कम होने की वजह से आपके शोरूम पर?
एक्चुअल में जीएसटी के कम होने से काफ़ी कस्टमर्स का प्रैक्टिस बढ़ी है आने की। शोरूम में आ रहे हैं कई कस्टमर्स। और अगर जैसे देखा था पितृपक्ष में जो कि कस्टमर्स बुकिंग करने के लिए सोचते थे, गाड़ी परचेस करने का प्लान नहीं करते थे, तो कस्टमर एंथुजियास्ट थे, बुकिंग्स बढ़ी। मतलब आप ये मान लीजिए इस ब्रांच में मान लीजिए 100+ बुकिंग्स भी हुई हैं। तो कस्टमर को जीएसटी का इम्पैक्ट पड़ा है क्योंकि बहुत अच्छा डिस्काउंट्स ऑफर्स कस्टमर्स को मिल गए। कस्टमर इतना एक्सपेक्ट नहीं कर रहे थे, जो कि कस्टमर को लग रहा था कि ऑटोमोबाइल्स में हो सकता है कि शायद गवर्नमेंट ना करे, लेकिन गवर्नमेंट ने बहुत ही अच्छा इनिशिएटिव लिया इस चीज़ के लिए। सो सबसे पहले तो थैंकफुल गवर्नमेंट को करूंगा मैं, और उनकी वजह से कस्टमर्स का ट्रैफिक जो पितृपक्ष में हम लोग एक्सपेक्ट नहीं करते थे, क्योंकि बेसिकली पितृपक्ष में क्या होता था, शोरूम खाली ही रहता था, कस्टमर बुकिंग करने के लिए रेडी नहीं होता। लेकिन इस डिस्काउंट जब से ये जीएसटी का बेनिफिट निकाला है गवर्नमेंट ने, सो फ्रॉम 3 सितंबर से निकाला था, उसके बाद से जो बुकिंग फ्लो बढ़ा है बहुत ही अच्छा बढ़ा है और ऑटोमोबाइल्स इंडस्ट्री के लिए बहुत ही अच्छा एक एग्जाम्पल सेट किया गवर्नमेंट ने। सो ये एक अच्छा एडवांटेज है।
We are here in Rashtra Mahindra, which is a Mahindra showroom, and we have with us Mr. Vinayak. विनायक, ये बताइए कि कितना फर्क पड़ने वाला है इन गाड़ियों, चमचमाती गाड़ियों को देखना तो खरीदना तो चाहते थे मगर देख के काम चल रहा था क्योंकि खरीदना मुश्किल हो गया था, बहुत ज्यादा रेट था। क्या कहेंगे
सर? देखिए, ओवरऑल हम ऑटोमोबाइल सेक्टर की बात करें सर, यहाँ पर हमारे जो प्राइजेस स्लैश हुए हैं सर, 80,000 से लेकर जैसे बड़े व्हीकल्स से हायर एंड पे 4 लाख तक का सर हमारे प्राइजेस जो हैं वो ड्रॉप हुए हैं सर। पर्टिकुलरली अगर हम महिंद्रा की बात करें सर, महिंद्रा में हमारी बोलेरो से हम शुरू करते थे, जो बेसिक हमारा व्हीकल था, बोलेरो से स्कॉर्पियो एन तक जाते थे। बोलेरो सर हमारी कॉस्टिंग कर दी थी कोई 11 से 12 लाख की, लेकिन आफ्टर दिस स्लैब्स सर इसका जो प्राइस है सर लगभग 1 लाख तक कम हो चुका है। और अगर हम बात करें हमारे हायर एंड व्हीकल स्कॉर्पियो एन की, तो सर स्कॉर्पियो एन पे बहुत ज़्यादा इन्होंने हमें,
मैं चाहूँगा गाड़ी भी साथ साथ दिखाते रहे। जी बताइए।
स्कॉर्पियो एन पे जो है सर लगभग 1,50,000 का जो है सर प्राइस हमारा फ्लैश।
ये पहले कितने की थी और अब कितने की हो जाएगी?
देखिए, पहले ये कोई 24 से 25 लाख तक से फॉल करती थी, लेकिन जो हमारे ये प्राइजेस आए हैं सर उसके बाद, लेकिन देखिए सर कोई 23 से 23.5 लाख तक प्राइजेस हमारे कम हो गए,
लगभग 1.5 लाख रुपए इस पे कम हो गए हैं।
बिल्कुल।
और इसी तरह से बाकी जो गाड़ियां हैं, ये बड़ी क्रेज रहती है थार कार की, इसमें कितना फर्क आया है?
सर देखिए, थार पहले हमारी जाती थी कोई 1,50,000 तक की, लेकिन अब इस पे जो हमारे प्राइजेस स्लैश हुए हैं सर लगभग 1,36,000 तक सर हमारे प्राइजेस डाउन हो गए हैं।
1,36,000 रुपए इस पे भी कम हुए हैं। और क्या एक चीज और जानना चाहूंगा, ईवी व्हीकल की बड़ी क्रेज है आजकल, हालांकि जेएनके में बहुत ज्यादा तो नहीं है बिक रहे, मगर फिर भी क्रेज है लोगों में, तो ईवी व्हीकल में भी कोई फर्क पड़ा है इसमें?
सर देखिए, जैसे अब आने वाला हमारा फ्यूचर है ईवी, तो सर अब आने वाला हमारा मेजर एक व्हीकल हमारे रहेंगे, लेकिन इस पे जो है सर देखिए, हमारी महिंद्रा जो है 2 तरह की सेगमेंट्स में व्हीकल्स बनाती है। एक तो हमारे फ्यूल व्हीकल्स आ गए, एक हमारी ईवी व्हीकल्स आ गए। फ्यूल व्हीकल्स पे ज़्यादा सर रहा है, ईवीज पे सर पहले ही था, लेकिन मेजर जो डिफरेंस आया सर वो आया हमारे फ्यूल व्हीकल्स पे।
जी अमित जी, मैं आपसे ये बोलना चाहूँगा कि पहले आपके जो पितृपक्ष लगे हुए थे या नवरात्रि से पहले जो स्लेब नहीं आया था, तो इसमें क्या बुकिंग थी और अब इसकी बुकिंग में क्या अंतर आया, मैं ये जानना चाह रहा हूँ।
सर सीधे अगर हम देखें पहले और अभी में, तो करीबन 70% जो है अब बुकिंग ज़्यादा हो रही है और डिलीवरी भी ज़्यादा हो रही है। पहले माहौल थोड़ा ठंडा था, लेकिन अभी हम देखें तो माहौल बहुत गर्म हो चुका है। काफ़ी सारे कस्टमर्स आ चुके हैं, बूम बढ़ चुका है, इंक्वायरीज बढ़ रही हैं, कस्टमर आ रहे हैं और बुकिंग करा रहे हैं।
इस समय हम मौजूद है नेक्स्ट शोरूम में, इनसे जाना का प्रयास करेंगे। सर सबसे पहले तो आपका शुभ नाम?
मेरा नाम रमेश शांडिल है और मैं एसएम हूँ यहाँ, सेल मैनेजर।
जी रमेश जी, सबसे पहले तो ये जानना चाहेंगे कि कितना गाड़ी में कितना बेनिफिट दिया जा रहा है? तो
अगर हम इस वक्त की बात करें, इस वक्त जो है गाड़ियों पे बहुत अच्छे डिस्काउंट चले हुए। जैसे हमारी इग्निस है, इग्निस पे हमारा 1,45,000 का ऑफर चला हुआ है अभी ना। GST बेनिफिट मिला के कंज्यूमर ऑफर है। अगर आज 21 तारीख तक बुकिंग कराते हैं 10,000 एडिशनल मिल रहा है। एक्सचेंज बोनस अलग से मिल रहा है, 25,000 एक्सचेंज बोनस है। अगर स्क्रैप है, स्क्रैप के ऊपर भी 35,000 एडिशनल मिल रहा है। यानी कि टोटल अगर
हम कुल मिलाकर देख रहे हैं कि जिस तरीके से जो 2 स्लैब थे, जो कि पहले 5, 12 और 18 और 28 था, अब 2 स्लैब बचे हैं, उस स्लैब के अंतर्गत कितना कितना डिस्काउंट दिया जा रहा है?
इस पे अगर इग्निस की बात करें हम तो 70,000 जो है GST बेनिफिट ही मिल रहा है। उसके ऊपर जो है कंज्यूमर ऑफर कंपनी दे रही है, एक्सचेंज बोनस दे रही है, गाड़ी के ऊपर आपको स्क्रैप पॉलिसी दे रही है, और उस पे जो एडिशनल जो मारुति इस वक्त दे रही है 10,000 और 21 सितंबर तक आप बुकिंग कराते हैं और नवरात्रों में आप इसको परचेज करते हैं तो 10,000 आपको एडिशनल मिल रहा है इग्निस पे।
और कौन सी गाड़ी आपके पास उपलब्ध है और किस किस में कितना डिस्काउंट?
हमारे पास अभी इग्निस है, बलेनो आती है, फ्रोंक्स है, और जिमनी है, और ग्रैंड विटारा है, और XL6 है। हमारे पास 8 गाड़ी आती हैं जिसमें बहुत अच्छे डिस्काउंट चले हुए हैं अभी। जैसे हम बलेनो की बात करें तो बलेनो पे हमारा अभी 1,70,000 का ऑफर आ रहा है। सारा GST बेनिफिट मिला के आपको कंज्यूमर ऑफर 35,000 है, एक्सचेंज बोनस 15,000 है, स्क्रैप बोनस 20,000 है। तो सारा अगर अभी सारा क्लम्प करके बेनिफिट जो कस्टमर को जो इस वक्त मिल रहा है वो 1,70,000 तक बलेनो पे मिल रहा है। इसी प्रकार हमारे पास फ्रोंक्स आती है, फ्रोंक्स पे भी हमारा बहुत अच्छा बेनिफिट मिल रहा है। इसमें 1,65,000 तक का बेनिफिट मिल रहा है जो फ्रोंक्स गाड़ी है। इस पे भी हमारा इसमें 86,100 तो है, इसमें GST बेनिफिट मिल रहा है। इसमें 15,000 कंज्यूमर ऑफर है, 10,000 आपको एडिशनल जो है बुकिंग वेनेंजा ऑफर मिल रहा है, और आपको स्क्रैप पॉलिसी अलग से मिल रही है इसमें। मतलब अगर किसी की गाड़ी स्क्रैप में भी लेते हैं तो उस पे भी आपको बेनिफिट मिलेगा, और RTO में भी इस पे आपको बेनिफिट 10 से 12% का बेनिफिट मिल रहा है।
Joining us now live is Shashank Mani, BJP Member of Parliament. Shashank Mani ji, thank you for being with us on Newsx. The GST Bachat Utsav has begun, as Prime Minister Modi has called it. How big an impact is this going to make for the common man across the country?
I think it's a very, very big signal to the whole country that we are powerful as an economy. And on the day of Navratri, we intend to get even more economically powerful. And this is not just the GST 2.0 reform in my mind. This is also signaling 2 other major efforts, one of which is Swavalamban, which has happened for the longest time, and second is Swadeshi. So we have been charged as legislators, as MPs, to go into our constituencies and make sure that we get this message of GST 2.0, but also these other 2 things. So I believe that it's not just the immediate relief that it'll give to customers, it'll also turbocharge the economy. It'll also send a longer term message that we have to make sure that the economic destiny of our country is in our own hands, and this is best how we can drive it. That doesn't mean that we will not export or import, but this is also making sure that the 1.4 billion consumers of this nation are empowered, and therefore it'll supercharge the economy in a number of ways that we can discuss.
Do you believe we're going to have a bumper festive season then, which will bring a great cheer, of course, for companies?
I think the short term bumper or the Utsav or the may I say festivities around this GST 2.0 is important. What is even more important is the long term signal it sends to the whole economy beyond the festive season. And this is important because for the longest time, the nation, especially what I would call tier 1 districts and the metro cities, have focused on the economy, which is essentially globalized, which is, may I say, broadly English speaking. Of course, they have consumption, which goes into the tier 2, tier 3 districts where I come from. But if you take the tier 2, tier 3 districts, which I call the emerging middle, this signals for them that you can A, save more, B, you can consume more, and C, you can produce more as well, because the simplification of the GST 2.0 will also ensure that small and medium businesses benefit from this. So this is more than just a reduction in the tax rate. It's also an increase in the confidence of the small may I say, trader, the small businessman, who will then be empowered to produce more. So I believe it's both a consumption story, and in due time, beyond the festive season, it's a production story.
Also, Shashank Mani, as far as, of course, the the Swadeshi movement is concerned, how important is this for consumers to also support this call for Swadeshi given by Prime Minister Modi?
That's a very big political cause that he has put out in his speech as well. and given instructions to the party as well as to the wider public to say that we must ensure that the benefits of this lower cost produce is passed on to Indian producers. And this is very critical at a time that we have become dependent on some other nations on a few areas. It's time that over the next 4 to 5 years, as we become the third largest economy, we also take our production destiny in our own hands, which means that many areas that he has signaled, including the green technologies, some of the chemicals where there has been a reduction, is also signaling in terms of how we can make sure that local produce is taken over and it benefits us by lowering our dependence on other nations. It's a long-term process, but this Swadeshi piece is something which is not just economic, it's also psychological. When we talk about Swaraj, Swa is not just independence. Swa is making sure that the individual comes through and makes his contribution. And the Prime Minister's Sabka Prayas, which is a very favorite political statement of mine, you'd be interested to know that my political office in Devariya is called Sabke Prayas is Sabka Vikas. I believe the Republican energies of this country will be unleashed when everyone recognizes that Swavalamban का पहला स्व वो हमारे हित में है. अगर हम अपने लिए नहीं करेंगे तो औरों के लिए कैसे कर पाएंगे? So this idea of Swavalamban, Swavalambi and Swadeshi has the same thing which starts with Swaraj.
Yes. Of course, a lot of people are attributing it to the changed geopolitics, which is why we're making this push to go Atmanirbhar. But Prime Minister has been talking about it for quite a while now.
Yes, I think it's sharpened that message. Swavalamban is something that he has been saying a lot before. Local for vocal was his mantra. You saw this come out a few years back. And I think Make in India was the first clarion call for Swavalamban almost 11 years back when we came into office in 2014. But Swadeshi is something which has been given a very strong edge, given the geopolitical turmoil, which I think we will continue to have. I think it's a deliberate strategy. It's a very positive strategy because Swadeshi means that Swavalamban means you need to produce here, but Swadeshi means you also need to consume what is produced here. And this is something which Japan did very well. When Japan was under attack in terms of making sure that trade wars were happening, there were local, may I say, consumption units which were made in different cities. I intend to make one in Devariya, where we will say that instead of buying anything that you see on the shelf, make sure you buy those things that are produced locally. I'm even going to say one step further. For my local economy, I don't know whether you're aware, but I have created a 10-year growth map for my constituency.
Right.
I'm also saying that we should make it more specific to that area so that local people do it. So that really takes the Swadeshi thing even more local, which is vocal for local. How do we make sure that I produce brooms and oils and other producers which are produced in Devariya and around in that area? And that will also environmentally protect our nation and make sure that economics is driven by local entrepreneurs.
All right, my final question to you. Are you already seeing a smile on people's face in the area today as Bachat Utsav kicks off?
Yes, I think it is starting this morning, as the Prime Minister said, with the sunrise will come this Bachat Utsav. I think it's sinking in. There are some stores that I've been to which are not necessarily fully geared up for this, so they're gearing up. It'll take a few days to get it fully into motion, but I think it's happening, and I do believe that people will get what the Prime Minister's offered, but more importantly, people will produce more because there'll be more consumption, and I hope they produce more in India.
Thank you. Thank you, Shashank Mani, for joining us with your perspective on this story. Let me also join Harpreet Singh now, partner Deloitte India, who's live with us. Harpreet Singh, this GST Bachat Utsav has of course kicked off now across the country. What is this going to translate to for the consumer and also for companies this festive season?
Right. So, for consumers, of course, this a huge rate change would increase their purchasing power. A lot of middle income group people would now be able to afford air conditioners, large televisions, automobiles. So I clearly see, a huge win for consumers across the country. As far as the companies are concerned, definitely this is likely to, increase their overall sales. But one thing is critical, this rate change is not a one-time event. This is a permanent change which has occurred in a very key tax structure of India, which means that now our products have become competitive, not only for domestic sales, but also for exports. Because, now the costs of producing anything, because not only the tax on output products has been reduced, but the tax on inputs and raw materials has also been reduced. So in summary, it's a win-win for both consumers as well as the industry, and likely to spur up demand in the overall long run.
Okay. Also, Mr. Singh, are you expecting then a bumper festive season as far as sales are concerned?
So see, post September 3rd, when the announcement was made, there was some apprehension. Dealers, distributors had stopped stocking goods, because in anticipation of rate fall, they were expecting the sales to be muted, and this is exactly what took place. Now, once the new rates have triggered in, definitely there would be, we'll see a lot of demand in the upcoming days. But let's not forget, today is a Monday. I actually foresee a lot of purchasing being done over the weekend. But as I said in my earlier comment, see, this is not a one-time change. So therefore, while the festive season is likely to be, more bumper vis-a-vis other years, but in a long run, this would lead to huge benefits.
Absolutely. Also, now, if we talk about this Swadeshi push by Prime Minister Modi, how beneficial is that going to be for Indian companies that are, manufacturing in India and are making in India?
See, while we've all been concentrating on the reduction in rate changes, it's very important to also understand that the government has made some very key changes to overall simplify the tax regime. They've made exports have been liberalized. GCCs and service providers in India, there were some impediments in terms of claiming export benefits. All of those have been removed. There were some issues on post-sale discounts, etc. That has been simplified. Very industry-friendly circulars have been issued. So overall, registration process for MSMEs, etc., small-time dealers has also been, simplified. So because of these structural changes, compliances in India have become much easier than they used to be.
Okay.
Also, India was, among the least 7-8 countries, which had a 4-tier to 5-tier structure. But now with simplification of rates, there being only 2 slabs, we expect less litigation.
All of this will help ease in doing business as well. This will all help ease of doing business. Fair enough. Thank you very much, Harpreet Singh, for joining us with your perspective. Quickly, let's play out now some ground reports coming in. Our team of reporters has visited electronic shops now to see how electronic goods are being affected by these changes.
सर, आपसे जानना चाहूँगा, ये जो असर अब नया हुआ है नई जीएसटी दरें आने के बाद, इसका कितना फ़ायदा आम लोगों को और आप लोगों को मिलेगा?
देखिए, जो कल 22 तारीख है, 22 तारीख से हमारी मोदी सरकार ने जो जीएसटी की दरें कम करी हैं। पहले 2.5% लगता था एलईडी के ऊपर, रेफ्रिजरेटर के ऊपर और अपना एसी के ऊपर और डिश वाशर के ऊपर। इलेक्ट्रॉनिक में 10.5% उसमें कटौती करी है जीएसटी में। कल से जो रेट हैं हमारे थाई की बजाय 18% लगेंगे और कंपनी ने एक हर अपने डीलर को उनके रेट दे दिए हैं, उस हिसाब से आपने बिल करना है।
The GST, rate slash which has taken place after Prime Minister have announced it, that is going to be implemented, and you can see that even on Sunday, people they are reaching here to inquire about the product rates and how much they are going to be benefited. I will try to speak to the customers first. Once again, sir, I would like to ask you how this is going to benefit you people, because a common man was very, facing so many trouble because of the GST rate. So how this is going to affect and how this is going to benefit the people?
This is definitely going to benefit all of us. This is not only GST. इससे पहले you must have heard कि जो income slabs हैं वो भी गवर्नमेंट ने बहुत अच्छा इनिशिएटिव लिया था कि 12 लाख तक के इनकम इज एग्जम्प्ट. सो ये दोनों चीज़ों का कॉम्बिनेशन इट मेक्स अ लॉट ऑफ सेंस कि दिस इज़ वेरी गुड फॉर ओवरऑल फॉर द कंजम्पशन सेक्टर. in fact there are other things also like गाड़ियाँ हो गई, उन पे भी GST बहुत कम हो रहा है. छोटी छोटी चीज़ें, दूध हो गया, बाकी सब कंजम्पशन रिलेटेड चीज़ें. इट्स अ वेरी गुड इनिशिएटिव एंड मोदी जी के साथ खड़े हैं हम. बहुत अच्छे इनिशिएटिव्स हैं उनके.
Sir, just give us a brief outlook on how is this GST reducing prices on electronic goods here?
Yes, sir. In Giri, we are having the very good offers. for whole year, customer waiting for this season actually. Dasara and Deepavali, and advantage of even the GST also. Reduce most of all the electronics. All the electronics come down to 18%. For this this year, AC and LED 43 inches and above, even if it is 98, 100 inches also, they are come down to 18%. And the dishwashers, all the three segments came down to 18%. Not only that, Dasara Deepavali offer is starting from today. Today is 22nd Dasara. I mean Navratri started today. Customer is waiting for that. For all about when central government has been announced, no, all the 18% GST. From that day they are waiting for that. Because a big price difference, sir. All about 3 lakh, 4 lakh TV if they want to go to buy it, all about 30, 40,000, up to 50,000 benefit they are going to get. Yeah, that's what. Even the ACs also. AC 28% to 18%. The previous days they are considered like those are luxury products. 43 inches TV, dishwashers, ACs and all. That has been reduced for 18%. 100%. This is going to affect to the all the customers, even to the dealers. It's a fantastic idea what they are going to get. It's a very good offer, what I can say, sir.
आइए चलिए देखते हैं और जानते हैं कि आखिर इस इलेक्ट्रॉनिक शॉप में किस तरीके से जीएसटी की जो दरें कम की गई हैं उससे लोगों को क्या लाभ मिलेगा। आप देखिए मेरे इर्द गिर्द आपको सारे इलेक्ट्रॉनिक शॉप की जितने भी चीज़ें यहाँ पर लगी हैं वहाँ पर जीएसटी की दरें लगाई गई हैं कि पहले कैसे थी, कितने प्राइस की थी ये टीवी और अब कितने प्राइस की ये टीवी हो गई। मतलब तैयारी पहले ही कर ली गई थी कि आखिर नवरात्रि के पहले दिन की जो शुरुआत है, जो जीएसटी की दरें कम की गई हैं, वो किस तरीके से लोगों को लाभ मिल सकता है और किस तरीके से अगर लोग इलेक्ट्रॉनिक की शॉप पर आते हैं, टीवी खरीदते हैं, फ्रिज खरीदते हैं, डिश वॉशर खरीदते हैं, तो उस पर किस तरीके से उनको कम दरें देनी पड़ेंगी।
सर, आपको क्या लगता है ये जो नया जीएसटी आया है, जीएसटी रिफॉर्मेशन हुआ है, तो इसमें जो आम जनता है क्या वो लोग फिर से दुकानों पे आएगा, सामान खरीदने में आएगा?
आना तो चाहिए। जब आदमी का पैसा बचेगा तो परचेजिंग बढ़ेगा तो सेल बढ़ेगा, होना तो चाहिए फ़ायदा। अब आगे कस्टमर को कितना फॉरवर्ड होता है वो देखने का चीज़ है। बाकी हम लोग का इलेक्ट्रिक लाइन में तो जीएसटी चेंज हुआ नहीं है तो कोई इफेक्ट नहीं है। बाकी कंज्यूमर आइटम्स कमा है तो उससे बेनिफिट तो ज़रूर होना चाहिए। लेट्स सी।
Vijay Sharma, a special guest, is joining us now, Deputy Chief Minister and Home Minister Chhattisgarh. Thank you very much for speaking with us today on Newsx. What was the state's message in the GST meeting when these rate cuts were suggested, sir?
The rate cuts means they means going ahead from the 4 different GST taxation, we come up to the 2 GST tax. And everywhere in our state, I'll truly want to say this thing, means all the people, they all are happy. They are truly thinking that this is a gift given by the PM Shri Narendra Modi ji to the people of Chhattisgarh.
As far as these GST cuts now are concerned, how are people on ground reacting to it, sir?
And that is what I'm telling you. Means from today itself, in the morning in Chhattisgarh, so many people, means like we also went to some shops and met with the shopkeeper, and we asked them to give the benefit to the all the citizens who are coming to you, and they have started doing this thing. We have made to the people also, to those who have in the shops, they were shopping something.
Yes.
We asked them that this has been done in favor of the people, and you please take this thing from your wherever you are going to shop something. So they also thought about the thing, means the GST deduction, the tax deduction was very beneficial for all of that. Along with that, they said about the direct tax benefit also. Like it was initially, means previously it was in 7 lakh rupees, and it has been made to the 12 lakhs. Up to 12 lakhs, people are not supposed to make any tax. No, they are not making any direct tax actually. So it's another benefit. The two benefits they are enjoying altogether. And this Deepavali, it's very big achievements. It's very big this thing for all the people of Chhattisgarh.
Okay. Do you believe these rate cuts are a much needed relief for businesses as well? How will this affect and benefit them?
See, initially, you think about this thing, it was 13 kinds of taxes were taken before the 2017, when the GST Council was made and the GST was applied in all over the India. It was 13 kind of taxes were there in different states, and 17 different other taxes were there. So maintaining all those kinds of things for a businessman, it was a tedious job, and every time it happened that the means they could not make up their business, they could not go ahead in their business only because of these all things. And after 2017, what had happened, you think about it, means it was made very clear to all of them, just 4 kinds of GST, single GST, means goods and service tax, just one kind of tax was there. Slabs were 4, but it was just one slab, one tax. So it made the business very easy. And this is the thing I would like to tell you. This is the thing through which our nation have jumped up from 11th position of to the 4th position in world order, if you say, as an economic power. It was because of the GST. I would like to tell you this thing.
Okay.
In 14, it was in 11th rank. In 24, you see that we have come up to the 4th rank in all over the world.
All right. And as far as the revenue is concerned, how much do you believe the state is going to generate from all of this?
So the revenue generation is not the thing. You think, means in the 2017, when it was, the GST was, means in 2014, I should say, when the PM Narendra Modi took oath, at that time, 65 lakhs people were there in the all over the country who used to pay the taxes, who used to pay the direct tax actually. And today, when we are talking, it's 1 crore and 51 lakhs. It's almost double, even more than double. The number is in which the people are making the direct taxes. See what is happening because of the taxpayers, the number of the taxpayers is being increased. So what is happening? It makes the government comfortable to reduce the tax even after 28 to the 18 months, 10% reduction in the tax. And you see the 12 to 15 to 5, it's again 5 to 10% deduction in the tax rate. The government could do so just because of the thing that the taxpayers have increased too much, first thing. And secondly, for the state budget, if you say, I hope that even more state part will be receiving next year, because the purchase and the sale all will increase. According to that, it will be receiving even more taxation through GST next year in our state, I think.
Okay. My final question then to you is, Vijayji, on this clear messaging for India as middle class from Prime Minister Modi. First, he did the income tax rate changes, and now these GST reforms.
Things are there. Means I'm thinking about that particular time. It will not take more. I think when that up to the next coming election, I think that something will happen. Suppose at the direct tax payers, the number is increased double, even more than that, and it has become 1.51 crore. Suppose it will become 5 crores or 10 crores. 10 crores people are going to pay the direct tax in India, then what will happen? We will be able to reduce even more tax rates. At that time, we'll be having enough money for the infrastructure development and all. Today, as your question is, what has the Narendra Modi as PM has done for the middle class? You see the tax in the stationery kind of thing, with the books and all, it has become nearly zero. The tax in the medicine, it has become nearly zero. The tax in all the FMCGs, fast movable and consumable goods, it is just 5%, not more than that. and at most maximum tax being paid for the luxury items also it is 18%.
Okay.
So it's all done for the middle class in India. It's done by the Narendra Modi ji, and it is done by the very powerful GST Council made by the Constitution Amendment in 2017. It was done like by Narendra Modi ji by this way, and it is very important.
All right, Deputy Chief Minister of Chhattisgarh, Vijay Sharma, thank you very much for joining us with your perspective on this big story. Let me now, in fact, draw in former Deputy Chief Minister of Chhattisgarh, T.S. Singhdeo, into the broadcast. T.S. Singhdeo, we just had your successor calling these reforms something which, of course, is a big thing for the middle class and is something which is going to be a boon for companies and consumers alike. How do you view these reforms which have kicked in today?
Good evening, and good evening to all the viewers. These are reforms which should have been in place on day one. So basically, there is little to talk about when you reduce rates. The whole question is why the country had to, and the consumers and the users, etc., had to face this hardship for over 8 years. The whole concept was to have a net neutral rate, and that net neutral rate should have been around 14-15%. So there would be so many countries in the world who would be having 8 slabs starting from 0 to 28% plus the cess. Why the country was burdened with that sort of a regime is the question. And why was it not done earlier is the other question. And I heard our Deputy Chief Minister mentioning about how the Prime Minister had brought this about. I'm sorry, but I'll have to say this, that the GST Council is not answerable to Parliament. It is an independent body which takes these decisions. And the decision taken by the GST Council should not be appropriated by anybody. So that is one thing. That is where politics starts in, unfortunately. And
on ground in Chhattisgarh, where you are you those seeing consumers happy? Is there a relief for people today? And this is what the government is saying is proof that, they care for the middle class. They first did income tax reforms and now they've done this.
If they cared for the people, they would have started it from day one. So they cared for themselves as government because they wanted revenue and to ensure that they were getting this larger share of revenue. The states were getting, let us say, 71% and 29% was being taken away by the government of India. That is the GST share, GST, CGST share of 50% each, and then the devolution of 41% to the states. It would work out to about 71% for the states and 29% for the center. And particularly unfair is the GST regime for producing states. For consuming states, it's fine. So how Chhattisgarh would fare, being a producing state and not a consuming state as would be Uttar Pradesh or Bihar, are things that are to be seen in times to come. As far as relief is concerned, that is exactly what I was trying to say, that more than 4 years to the date the GST reforms have been announced. As a representative of the government of Chhattisgarh in the GST Council, verbally in the council and in writing, among other ministers, I too had mentioned that we need to rationalize these rates and they are extremely burdensome. And they need to be reduced rationally. Inverted taxes, etc., of course, have to be put in place. But that apart, they need to be rationalized. So it's taken the government more than 4 years since it, the GST bill, more than 4 years since the committee itself was formed.
It's a good thing. It's a good thing, but it should have happened earlier, is what you're clearly saying.
Certainly. It have started from day one.
Yes. Mr. Singh, also now the Prime Minister has given a call for Swadeshi, a Swadeshi movement for the people of India. He first said go vocal for local. then of course Make in India, now this Swadeshi movement. Is this something you will support?
Swadeshi he's picking it up from Gandhi ji, I think. Our Prime Minister is adept at bringing out these words and terms which may appear attractive. See, what is Swadeshi? You are dependent on so many minerals that the country doesn't have. So what is this Swadeshi we are talking about? We will not get anything from abroad and make everything in India. You don't have everything in India. And in a globalized economy, this Swadeshi, you know, how much are you going to produce? Are all the companies that are producing everything that you want? Are you going to be able to produce that in your country? So don't mislead the country, please.
Okay. Okay. T.S. Singh, I appreciate you joining us with your perspective on this big story. Let me also join now Manik Batra, Chairman ASSOCHAM Jammu and Kashmir Council, who's joining us live. Manik Batra, how are you viewing these changes, and you know, how is it going to benefit the consumer, the common man on ground in your state of Jammu and Kashmir and also across the country?
Good evening to all your viewers. I would say they are revolutionary. I would say they are revolutionary changes. I can hear echo, sorry.
Okay, we'll ask our team to change to check that. Yes.
So, so basically, what you know, what I see it as that the slabs have been reduced from 4 slabs to 2 slabs. All the items which were in 28% have 90% of the items are in 18% now, and all the items which were in the 12% slab, 99% of them are in the 5% slab, or they are without any GST now. Daily need items, you know, there is reduced GST or no GST on consumer goods, FMCG goods. There is reduced GST on electronic goods. There is reduction in GST by 10%. The ACs, everything has gotten cheaper, and I think it's a shot in the arm to the economy. And as we've seen, the GDP has been growing. We just announced that GDP is at 7.8%, and this will actually help the GDP also to get better. It's not only going to benefit the consumers, it is going to benefit the MSME also, as we know that the consumption is driven by the Indian middle class, and MSME forms an important backbone in the supply chain and manufacturing. With reduced slabs, just 2 slabs, you know, the administrative costs go down, and you know, implementing GST gets easier. Your input tax credits, they become faster, your refunds become faster, so there is going to be better cash flow for MSMEs. Yes, and you know, important things like life insurance and health insurance have been the GST has been completely removed, because the government also
you know, Manik, this is of course going to boost spending. You know, first they brought about changes in the income tax slabs. The government says this shows that they're concerned about the middle class, but this boosts more money in the pocket, because income tax saving means you know, more money to spend. GST you know, cuts also means more money savings, and then more spending power as well.
Yes, so like you rightly said, this is actually the right time to have these GST reforms, because the festive period has started. India is a big consumer market during the festive period. We'll see a major effect during this period, but once the period, you know, and gets over, but we'll still see the effects, because the consumption, the demand for domestic produce is going to go up. The idea behind reducing the GST is also that, you know, we speak about Make in India, vocal for local, and now we're talking about Swadeshi movement again. So, you know, it is a boost to manufacture more in India and have more consumption of locally produced products. So when the consumption increases, the demand increases, it will absolutely also help in, you know, the industries would expand. There would be more jobs also that would be created when expansion happens for these industries.
Also, the Swadeshi movement that the Prime Minister has given a call for Is this something that industry will support?
Yes. Yes, absolutely. I think we've always supported the Honorable Prime Minister's mission. We have always spoken of Make in India. We've always spoken of vocal for local. There has been ease of doing business. So these new reduced GST slabs, make business more easier. More people would adopt GST. I think it will become easier for more people, because earlier it was complicated. At times you were taking a raw material at a higher GST cost, and when you were producing it, you were selling it at a lower GST cost. So with the new slabs, all of these problems get taken care of. Your refunds get faster. You get more, you're cash positive to run the business. And Swadeshi movement is actually going to benefit the producers more, because the more we produce in India and for India actually is good for India, and
Yes.
It is going to have an overall multiplier effect on the GDP.
All right, Manik Batra, thank you very much for joining us with your perspective on this big story. Union Minister of Culture and Tourism Gajendra Singh Shekhawat has spoken with Newsx on the GST reforms.
केंद्रीय मंत्री गजेंद्र सिंह शेखावत जी साथ में मौजूद हैं। शेखावत जी, आज से जीएसटी की दरों में काफ़ी कमी आई है, लोगों को इसका फ़ायदा मिलेगा, त्योहारी ऑफर भी आपकी तरफ से, लेकिन वहीं विपक्षी दलों के नेता आरोप लगा रहे हैं कि 100 चूहे खा करके बिल्ली हज को चली, ये कह रहे हैं मल्लिकार्जुन खड़गे, कांग्रेस के नेता।
मुझे पता नहीं है वो किस परिप्रेक्ष्य में कह रहे हैं, उनकी बात उनकी पार्टी में भी कितनी प्रभाव रखती है, ये भी आज जो है लोगों के लिए समझने और आकलन करने का विषय है, क्योंकि उनके नेता जीएसटी जब 2017 में लागू हुआ था तब से लेकर के जाहिर तौर पर अनेक मंचों पर यह कह चुके थे, उनके घोषणा पत्रों में लिखा गया था कि यदि हमारी सरकार बनी, कभी उनको भी संदेह था, तो हम इस जीएसटी टैक्स को ख़त्म करेंगे, इस व्यवस्था को ख़त्म करके पुरानी व्यवस्था पर जाएंगे। मैं तो खड़गे साहब से और उनकी पार्टी के नेताओं से पूछना चाहता हूं कि अब जब देश की जनता को जीएसटी के लाभ मिलने लगे हैं, रास आने लगा है, तब अब उनका इसको लेकर के क्या स्टैंड है, पहले ये क्लियर करना चाहिए।
शेखावत जी, लेकिन ममता बनर्जी कह रहे हैं कि ये जो जीएसटी की जो दरें कमी की गई है, तो इसका क्रेडिट प्रधानमंत्री अकेले को नहीं जाता, उनका भी जाता, वो पहले से मांग कर रही थी।
देखिए, जीएसटी काउंसिल में कोऑपरेटिव फेडरलिज्म की व्यवस्था है, लेकिन माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी के इनिशिएटिव पर लाल किले के प्राचीर से जब उन्होंने 15 अगस्त को देश को संबोधित करते हुए जो कहा था, उसके अनुवर्तन में भारतीय जनता पार्टी और एनडीए नीड सरकारों ने, देश की सरकार ने मिलकर के जो प्रस्ताव रखा, उस पर सबने कमोवेश सबने सहमति व्यक्त की। उन सब का धन्यवाद व्यक्त करते हुए माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी के कुशल नेतृत्व, जीएसटी के इम्प्लीमेंटेशन में उनकी सतत साधना और उसका लाभ जो जनता को मिल रहा है, उसको लेकर के मैं प्रधानमंत्री जी का अभिनंदन करते हुए उनका आभार ज्ञापित करना चाहता हूँ।
लेकिन कांग्रेस के नेता है राहुल गांधी, वो कह रहे कि जीएसटी में सरकार ने लाखों करोड़ रुपए कमाए, उसका हिसाब जनता को नहीं दिया है।
एक बार राहुल गांधी जी को जीएसटी का फुल फॉर्म क्या होता है और अब वर्तमान परिप्रेक्ष्य में वो उसे क्या कहेंगे, ये देश के सामने स्पष्ट करना चाहिए।
आखिरी सवाल है सर, आपको क्या लगता है सर, जीएसटी की दरों में जो सरकार ने कमी की है, आम जनता को उससे कितनी राहत है?
देखिए, जिस तरह का अनुमान किया जा रहा है, देश के लोगों को 2.5 लाख करोड़ रुपए से ज़्यादा प्रतिवर्ष की बचत होगी, और ये जो बचत होगी ये निश्चित रूप से मार्केट को और ज़्यादा बूम करेगी, स्ट्रेंथन करेगी। मार्केट में खरीद बढ़ेगी, निर्माण बढ़ेगा, जो है एम्प्लॉयमेंट बढ़ेगा, तो इसका कैस्केडिंग इम्पैक्ट जो है वो बहुत बड़ा होगा। टूरिज्म बढ़ेगा, जब जेब में डिस्पेंसेबल इनकम होगी, निश्चित रूप से देश की जनता को बहुत बड़ा लाभ और देश की इकोनॉमी को बहुत बड़ा फायदा इससे होने वाला है।
तो ये थे गजेंद्र सिंह शेखावत, जिनका कहना है कि देश की जनता को बड़ा लाभ, बड़ा फायदा मिलने वाला है। और राहुल गांधी, जिसको गब्बर सिंह टैक्स कहते थे, अब आज जीएसटी के बारे में क्या कहेंगे। कैमरामैन अविनाश के साथ संजय शर्मा, इंडिया न्यूज दिल्ली।
Union Minister of State for Finance Pankaj Chaudhary has spoken with Newsx as well on the GST reforms.
केंद्रीय वित्त राज्य मंत्री पंकज चौधरी जी हमारे साथ में मौजूद है। पंकज जी, आज से जीएसटी की दरें जो कमी हुई है, उसका फायदा जनता को किस तरह से मिलेगा? प्रधानमंत्री कह रहे हैं दिवाली की बोनंजा गिफ्ट है, लेकिन दुकानदार कई सारे ये कह रहे हैं कि जो पुराना माल उन्होंने पुराने रेट पर खरीदा, उसका फायदा जनता को कैसे दें? अभी
निश्चित तौर से कुछ लोगों के पास कुछ ना कुछ स्टॉक्स बचा होगा और उसका क्रेडिट इनपुट वगैरह करके उसकी कोई व्यवस्था बनेगी, और नहीं तो जो कंपनियां हैं कंपनियां उसको कहीं ना कहीं एडजस्ट करने का काम करेंगी।
आपको लगता है कि जनता को वाकई आज से राहत मिलेगी और ये बोनस ऑफर है?
निश्चित तौर से आज पूरे देश में जिस प्रकार से माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी के प्रस्ताव पर काउंसिल ने अपना यह निर्णय लिया है और देश के आम जन को और कह लें कि सभी सेक्टरों में, चाहे वो किसानी का क्षेत्र हो, चाहे शिक्षा का क्षेत्र हो, चाहे स्वास्थ्य का क्षेत्र हो, चाहे आम आदमी के जो लोकल परचेज करते हैं, उन सब में आज कहीं ना कहीं आज से वो लागू हो रहा है और देश की जनता को काफ़ी राहत मिलेगी।
तो ये थे पंकज चौधरी हमारे साथ, जिनका कहना है कि देश की जनता को काफी आज से राहत मिलेगी। संजय शर्मा, कैमरामैन अविनाश के साथ, इंडिया न्यूज दिल्ली।
Meanwhile, many everyday essentials in grocery are being brought under nil or 5% slab. This is predicted to give huge benefits to common citizens from the middle class and the new middle class. Newsx's ground report now shows you what the scenario was in small grocery shops today.
Now, I'm joined with the immediate past president of FKCCI and the APMC market yard coordinator, Ramesh Chandra Lahoti, with me here. Sir, the next generation GST is coming into effect from today. So, what do you think? How do you think that the consumers are benefited or the farmers are, are happy with this reform?
No, it is a gift from the present government for the consumers only. It's a benefiting. And partially it is it will help MSMEs to grow more, because as the consumption grows, if you see the basket, already government, GST Council has given rebate for food grains, pulses, sugar, wheat. Most of the items which are in the wholesale package are zero, because 50% buy-in to lose. So when you look at that, and company items, most of the company items, our suggestion from FKCCI and Confederation of Allied Traders was to touch and give relief to the consumers, where they buy every day, like say bread, namkeen, shampoo, whatever you say. So in that category, about 100 odd items which are brought from 12 to 5%, it will give a much boost to the MSME, and if the demand comes, it is for our economy, it will add up to the GDP, which we are actually, our Prime Minister is hoping for.
How about farmers who cultivate or produce? Like, how are they benefited?
No. See, there, somewhere in the fertilizers, sowing equipments, if you go to tractor, if you go to the automobile industries, 100% it is right from the farmer to an industry. It is going to help in for consumer, and what are the products they do or the farmers grow or farmers input cost will come down. It will ease the rate. Actually it is other pricing, so it will come down. So it is a good move. Let's see, 6 months, I think this effect may come from another 3 months afterwards. We have to watch what the consumers are benefited or MSs are benefited.
Okay. So that ना कहीं बात बताई गई थी, मगर ऐसे में कहे कि आज वो पहला दिन है जब ये जीएसटी की दरें लागू की गई है और इसमें कितना डिफरेंस आया है। सबसे पहले जो है राशन विक्रेताओं से हम बात करेंगे। भैया, किस तरीके का डिफरेंस है? आज से नई जो है जीएसटी का स्लैब लागू हो गया है, क्या डिफरेंस है पहले के जो सामान खरीदते थे और अब का सामान?
अभी जैसे काफ़ी कुछ आइटमों में रेटें अभी कम करी है डिस्ट्रीब्यूटरों ने, जैसे नमकीन में कम कर दिए बिकाजी वालों ने पैसे, घी में भी जैसे क्या है सरस ने भी कम कर दिए, अमूल ने भी कम कर दिए, बोरस ने भी कम कर दिए। तो ये रेटें अच्छी कम कर रहे हैं, बिल्कुल ये बात मान रहे हैं। ऐसा नहीं है कि मतलब मनमानी वाला काम कर रहे हैं, और मेरे को उम्मीद है पूरा ये थोड़ा सा सेट होने में 10-15 दिन का समय लगेगा। बाकी ये बहुत अच्छा डिसीजन है गवर्नमेंट का, बहुत अच्छा, आम जन को फायदा मिलेगा। बिल्कुल मिलेगा, जरूर मिलेगा।
जी बिल्कुल, देखिए कुछ आमजन भी है। अंकल, किस तरीके से देखते हैं जीएसटी का नया स्लैब लागू किया गया है, आमजन को कितनी राहत मिलेगी?
राहत तो मिलेगी क्योंकि परसेंटेज में कुछ कम हुआ है, लेकिन कितनी राहत मिलती है ये तो एक बार आने के सामान लेने के बाद ही पता चलेगा बिल के साथ।
कहे कि जो है खास तौर से जो मध्यम वर्ग है वो इससे खासा प्रभावित होगा, क्योंकि तेल, घी, चीनी ऐसी कई राशन की चीजें हैं जो सस्ती होगी।
बिल्कुल सस्ती तो होंगी तो राहत तो मिलेगी, थोड़ा जेब का महीने का बचेगा हमारा।
जी बिल्कुल, देखिए जिस तरीके से
तो दादा आज से क्या लगता है मार्केट उठेगा ऊपर?
देखिए अगर जीएसटी अगर सही तौर पे अगर कम होगा तब तो मार्केट उठेगा।
तो ये जो सुबह से लोग आ रहे हैं, क्या जीएसटी को लेकर कोई बात कह रहे हैं?
अभी तक तो ऐसा कोई नहीं बात हुआ।
तो क्या लगता है लोगों के मन में अभी तक जीएसटी का प्रभाव नहीं आया है?
नहीं आया, जीएसटी का प्रभाव अभी तक लोगों के मन में आया नहीं।
आप लोगों का तो दाम घटा है।
घटेगा अभी देखिए, एक दिन में 2 दिन में तो पता नहीं चलेगा, जब तक वो हफ्ता दिन 10 दिन अगर जब तक वो नहीं पार होगा तब तक आदमी को पता नहीं चल पाएगा। अब जैसे मार्केट में GST कम हुआ तो जब तक आप उसको बाजार को ये नहीं करिएगा, सर्वे नहीं करिएगा, आपको पता कैसे चलेगा? ये तो थोड़ा ना कि आज मतलब GST कम हुआ तो हमको आज ही सब सारा पता चल जाएगा, नहीं पता चलेगा। थोड़ा उसमें मतलब टाइम लगेगा, बाजार घूमिएगा, जाइएगा, तब आपको पता चलेगा कि क्या माहौल है। GST कम हुआ बाजार में आपको दिख रहा है कि नहीं दिख रहा है वो आपको बाद में पता चलेगा जब आप सर्वे पे जाइएगा।
तो ऐसे ही खराब है, बहुत दिन से वो सब आपका ऑनलाइन का वजह से ऐसे ही खराब है।
तो नया GST को किस तरीके से देख रहे हैं?
GST का कोई इफेक्ट नहीं होने वाला है, वो तो पहले दाम बढ़ चुका था, अभी कम हुआ, कितना कमेगा? पहले ही जो दाम बढ़ चुका था, कोई कोई चीज़ का एकदम डबल दाम हो गया, उसको GST में कम करेगा तो कितना होगा? बस पहले जितना था उतना ही आ जाएगा, तो कम कहाँ से हो गया?
जो स्लैब्स अभी लागू किए गए हैं इससे कितना तक नुकसान है, क्या लाभदायक है आप लोगों के लिए, और ग्राहक के लिए कितना तक इसके ऊपर फायदा होगा?
हमारे को अभी 2 से 3 महीने तक पुराना स्टॉक सेल करे जब तक लॉस ही है। 7 से 8%, किसी में 10% लॉस है। कस्टमर को आज से फायदा है, इसमें हमारे को लॉस है। गवर्नमेंट हमारे तरफ ध्यान नहीं दिया, खाली आम पब्लिक की तरफ भी देख के उन्होंने करे ये सब।
अच्छा, आपको कैसा लॉस होता है इसमें, इसके आपको लॉस कैसा है इसमें?
अगर किसी में 28% GST था, अब नया GST 18% हो गया, उसमें 10% लॉस है। और किसी में 12 था, वो 5 हो गया, तो उसमें 7% हमारे को लॉस है। वो हम जेब से भरना, कंपनी वाले हमारा GST क्लेम नहीं करता।
अच्छा, जनरली आप लोग जो डिस्काउंट्स वगैरह देते हैं तो वो कैसा रहता है, मतलब जो प्रॉफिट पे जो आप लोग डिस्काउंट्स देते हैं वो अभी फिलहाल कैसा है?
अभी तो उल्टा हमारे को लॉस हो रहा है, जो कम हुआ वो ही देखेंगे, 7% या 10%। अभी जो डिस्काउंट का पहले जो हमारा रेगुलर था वो डिस्काउंट अभी नहीं दे सकते, वो ये दोनों हमारे से घाटा मुश्किल होता है संभालना।
अच्छा, अभी जो ग्राहक आपके पास आ रहे हैं, जो कस्टमर्स आपके पास आ रहे हैं, उन लोगों का क्या कहना है? मतलब आपको कोई पूछ रहे कि आज से ये रेट कम हो जाए, चाहे वो चॉकलेट पे हो या तो घी पे हो या चीज़ पे हो, इस तरह के उस पर कम हुआ है, तो आपको पूछ रहे हैं, क्या उन लोगों को जानकारी है इस चीज़ की?
अभी आम पब्लिक को जानकारी नहीं है, वो हर किसी पे कम हो गया समझ रहे, हर किसी पे डिस्काउंट पूछ रहे। उनको मालूम ही कुछ नहीं, पहले से जो 5% है उस पर उन्होंने सोच रहे 12% है, आज 0 हो गया तो हमारे को 12% डिस्काउंट में मिल जाना। आम पब्लिक को अभी कुछ मालूम नहीं है, उल्टा हमारे को कारोबार करने में महीना भर हमारे को परेशानी होता। पब्लिक अवेयरनेस नहीं है, मीडिया वाला कुछ करे तो उससे सपोर्ट मिलता हमारे को।
Meanwhile, under the GST reforms, the government has taken an important step to ease the burden on students. Stationery items including notebooks, graph books, erasers, pencils, crayons, sharpeners, charts, maps, atlas and globe will be brought down to zero tax under the new structure. We've in fact filed ground reports from my colleagues talking with stationery shop owners.
So, sir, Ram Mohan sir, yeah. So here the government has announced that most of the educational items would fall into the 0% and the lesser 5%. And when it comes as a combo pack or a collection of a group of educational materials, then the GST would be higher, is what they say. So how do you can you compare the prices from earlier and with this GST kicking in? What would be the difference of the products that you sell here?
Yeah. Most of the students, most of the education system in a student life, in schools, they use the notebooks. So earlier it was being charged at 12%. 12% GST. So every notebook of 25 rupees, the tax portion of 3 rupees would go to the as GST. Now they have reduced the price, the slab to 0%. So in other words, the tax, there's no tax, no GST on the notebooks and exercise books. So it will dramatically reduce the price of the notebooks and other regular usage of students. Whatever the stationery they use for the students, like pencils, erasers, oil pastels, they are all reduced to 0%, from 12 to 0%. Apart from that, these education materials or printed education products, which were also at 0%, they are removed at, remain at 0%. These are the printed material which were at 0% earlier. Even today it's at 0%. Yeah. Coming, I mean, even they've added this printed charts and printed maps for the education system. So even there, the prices have been reduced to 0%. I mean 0%. And this one more amendment is the mathematical instruments with instrument box, which are regularly used by the students for geometry. So they were charged at 18%. Now earlier, now they have been reduced to 5%.
Meanwhile, at least 30 people, including women and children, were reportedly killed in a Pakistan Air Force strike in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa's Tira Valley. Around 2 a.m., Pak jets dropped 8 LS-6 bombs on a village called Matradara in the Tira Valley. So these are the latest updates coming in. 30 civilians have been killed, including women and children, in this Air Force strike by Pakistan within their own territory. In fact, more breaking news coming in now. Former Vice President of Afghanistan has called this strike as the beginning of the balkanization of Pakistan. He's gone on to say that the people of the former Fatah tribal belts have always been an expendable part of Pakistani society. He said this in his opinion. The Taliban, board TTA and TTP are a Pakistani-made poison and the GHQ has its antidote too. But in his expert view, the antidote is not F-16s dropping bombs on civilians. So strong statement, of course, being put out there. Ajay Jandial joins us for more on this story. Ajay, what has the former Vice President of Afghanistan said? Ajay, can you hear me? Okay, it seems we've lost him. All right, more news coming in now. In fact, massive anger has gripped civilians. Afridi Pashtun leaders and locals in Matradara are planning protests and even a siege of the Pakistani Air Force base in Peshawar post the destruction and loss of civilian lives in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. Ajay Jandial, I believe, is back with us on the broadcast. Ajay, reportedly there is massive anger amongst civilians locally.
Yes, you rightly said, the way basically Pakistan have carried out that airstrike on the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa area on the civilians, in which more than 30 people have died. That clearly is a reason that people are angry and people are saying that this is something which is really shameful and they will not tolerate. Even we have seen that how they have how TTP have also threatened Pakistan for the retaliation on the same. So definitely it is going to be a big issue, and it is expected that TTP will not spare Pakistan in this issue because they have lost innocent people, those who were living in their village, and they while they were sleeping, Pakistan started targeting with the Miraj 17. So this is really shocking for the world as well.
Ajay, thank you for joining us with those updates. On that note, slipping into a short break.